What's up, everyone, and welcome to Be Sacred Space, your place for endless growth and possibilities. I am the amazing creator of this beautiful and everly growing space. My name is Bianca, but you can call me B, and I'm here to help you master yourself and your reality. So if that sounds like something you can get down with, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I promise you will not be disappointed. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. I come here today as a follow-up to the last video that I posted, the Empower Your Wellbeing, Nurture Your Mental Self. And so this video is kind of like a follow-up because I wanted to give you guys a little bit more resources and just people I recommend and suggest that you look into to better understand your mind. And so the first thing I wanted to talk about is, I mentioned in the video, was the Wellbeing by the 3 Initiates. And in this book, there are 7 universal principles, which we remember that principles kind of mean like the foundation. These are the things that must be put first. And so these have the 7 universal principles that kind of dictate our reality and our world. And the first principle is the law of mentalism, which is the all is mind. Everything is mental. So everything must start from our mental world. So when we are looking to improve our health and just our overall well-being and just state of living, we want to first, understand how our mind works and how it creates and produces our reality, as well as there are 6 other laws in here that are very important for us to know and get familiar with and learn how to work with, because these are involved in our everyday lives and can really be put into use to help produce the desired change we wish to see in our life. So again, I highly recommend the Wellbeing. You can find the Wellbeing at bookstores like Barnes & Nobles. You can find it on Amazon. There is audio versions on YouTube. So yeah. The next book and individual I would like to recommend when it comes to, going about your self-care journey and really improving your mental self is, and I talk about this book all the time, but is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Yes, Dr. Joseph Murphy. And I mean, this book is amazing. It gives you different ways to like tap into your subconscious mind and to, change your circumstances and, kind of physically create your desire. So there are a couple of inserts that I'm going to read out of this book. And again, you can find this book on Amazon, sure, Barnes & Nobles, though I've ordered this book for many other people and they look different than this book. This is a very old book. I like it. It came, when I got it, came like this, and I kind of like that feel. But anyways, let's go into the first thing that I want to read. And it says, your subconscious mind is your book of belief. Whatever thoughts, beliefs, opinions, theories, or dogmas you write, engrave, or impress on your subconscious mind, you shall experience them as the objective manifestation of circumstances, conditions, and events. What you write on the inside, you will experience on the outside. You have 2 sides of your life, objective and subjective, visible and invisible, thought and its manifestation. Your thought is received by your brain, which is an organ of your conscious reasoning mind. When your conscious or objective mind accepts the thought completely, it sends it to the solar plexus, called the brain of your mind, where it becomes flesh and is made manifest in your experience. As previously outlined, your subconscious cannot argue. It acts only for what you write on it and accepts your verdict or your conclusions of your conscious mind as final. This is why you always write on the book of life, because your thoughts become your experiences. The American essayist Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Man is what he thinks all day long." So, like I said in the Nurture Your Mental Self, is that your mind is always on and it is always taking information. And once that information gets impressed and printed into the mind, it produces into your physical reality, as stated in The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And so the next insert that I would like to read is how to get the conscious to work for you. The first thing to realize is that your subconscious mind is always working. It is active night and day, whether you act upon it or not. Your subconscious is the builder of your body, but you cannot consciously perceive or hear that inner silent process. Your business is with your conscious mind and not your subconscious mind. Just keep your conscious mind busy with the expectation of the best. Make sure your thoughts you habitually think are based upon whatsoever things are lovely, true, and just, and of good report. Begin now to take care of your conscious mind, knowing in your heart and soul that your conscious mind is always expressing, reproducing, and manifesting according to your habitual thinking. So again, I highly, highly recommend reading this book and putting it into practice. You would be surprised what you're capable of. So another book I would like to recommend is The Nature of Personal Reality. It is a Seth book. Now, it is a thick book and it's kind of done through, so it's a woman who is writing the book, but she channels a figure called Seth who delivers, spiritual truth that, otherwise humans might not necessarily know. So I thought it was very interesting how they set up this book. So I highly recommend it as well. And so I am going to read some inserts out of this book. It is by Jane Roberts. All right, so it says, each person experiences a unique reality different from any other individual. This reality springs outward from the inner landscape of thought, feeling, expectations, and belief. If you believe that the inner self works against you rather than for you, then you hamper its function, or rather you force it to behave in a certain way because of your belief. The conscious mind is meant to make clear judgments about your position in physical reality. Often, false beliefs will prevent it from making these. From the egotistically held ideas will cloud its clear vision. Your beliefs can be like fences that surround you. You must first recognize the existence of such barriers. You must see them, or you will not even realize that they are not free. Or you will not even realize that you are not free, simply because you will not see beyond the fences. They will represent the boundaries of your experiences. There's one belief, however, that destroys artificial barriers to perceptions, an expanding belief that automatically pierces false and inhibiting ideas. The self is not limited. That statement is a statement of fact. It exists regardless of your belief or disbelief in it. Following the concepts is another. There are no boundaries or separation of self. Those that you experience are the results of false belief. Following this is the idea that I have already mentioned. You make your own reality. To understand yourself and what you are, you can learn to experience yourself directly apart from your beliefs about yourself. What I would like each reader to do is to sit quietly, Close your eyes. Try to sense within yourself the deep feeling tones that I mentioned earlier. This is not difficult to do. Well, obviously, you will need the book to kind of understand. But yes, this states that we are the creators of our own experiences, and it is our thoughts and beliefs that reproduce these. And it is the false beliefs that we are limitless, that we don't have any power, and that we are not in control of our experience that keep us in the same rut and stagnation. But once we gain the knowledge and the wisdom and apply the steps that are provided in all of these books, then we will seriously surpass where we are now as humanity is currently. So again, I highly recommend these books and the additional people that I'm going to mention afterwards. So I think there is one more that I wanted to read out of this book as well. Alrighty. It says that the great value of the conscious mind lies precisely in its ability to make decisions and set directions. Its role is dual, however. It is meant to assess conditions both inside and outside, to handle data that comes from the physical world and from the inner portions of the self. It is not a closed system then. To be human necessitates fine discrimination in the use of such consciousness. Many people are afraid of their own thoughts. They do not examine them. They accept the beliefs of others. Such actions distort data from both within and without. So we must take the time to reevaluate our beliefs and our mindsets and our thought patterns so that we can recognize what is a barrier in our lives, and so that we can use our conscious mind to change those thoughts and beliefs so that we can live a more harmonious and ideal life. So I do have another book that I would like to recommend. Now I'm going to be honest, I have not read this book completely, but I have been reading parts of it and I think it's really good. So I do want to recommend this book. I'm not going to read any specific inserts from this book, but again, this book is called Quantum Theology by, I'm not going to even try to produce that or I will just butcher it. But this is what it looks like. Again, from what I've been reading, I think it's really great. It goes along with a lot of things that I have been learning myself. Now, there is one more book that I would like to recommend. It's not necessarily for mental health, though they do go hand in hand. It is Guilt, Shame, and Anxiety by Peter R. Bragan. I had mentioned him in the video because he speaks a lot about, heart-led therapy and psychiatric practice. He also talks a lot about kind of some of the stuff that's going on in the psychiatry field. And so I really respect this man's work. Again, he's been advocating for mental health in the psychiatric field for longer than I have been alive. I think he's a really good man, and he is seriously doing a lot of fighting for, patients who are on psych drugs. Again, if you do not watch the Nurture Your Mental Self, please go watch it. I need to figure out how you put the title cards where you guys could click on it. But yeah, it'll follow at the end of this video as well. But there is something that I did want to read when it comes to psychiatric drugs. So it says, in my own psychiatric practice, I work with children, adults, and family without resorting to psychiatric drugs. I want my patients to become empowered to understand and to overcome whatever has held them back, and then to direct their lives in more satisfying and creative ways. I wrote Psychiatric Drug Withdrawal 2013 for professionals and the public. it documents the information in this book with many scientific reference about the dangers and lack of effectiveness associated with every class of psychiatric drug. It describes how medication spellbinding prevents us from knowing how psychiatric drugs are harming our brains, minds, and quality of life. The book also documents the chronic brain impairment that all psychiatric drugs can cause over months, years with progressive loss of mental acuity and quality of life. My medical book, Brain Disabling Treatment in Psychiatry, which was released in 2008, which laypersons can easily read, presents the most thorough analysis of biopsychiatric intervention works by disabling the brain. It too presents scientific backgrounds for the views expressed in this book and the summary that follows. The evidence that psychiatric drugs work in the short term is flimsy and largely contrived by drug companies and the researchers they pay. Meanwhile, there are few studies and no convincing evidence that the drugs are helpful after several months or years of exposure. Worse yet, there is mounting evidence that all classes of psychiatric drugs, especially taken for months or years, produce chronic brain impairment and diminish enjoyment of life. Psychiatric drugs frequently prevent recovery and often lead to chronic or permanent disabilities. Again, now I'm not telling you if you are on psychiatric drugs to stop taking them. I'm just saying it is best to be an informed consumer. So again, if you've not checked him out, Dr. Peter R. Bragan has amazing work. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him on his website at psych.bragan.com. I do believe that's his website. It'll be right here. But those are the books that I would like to recommend. There are two other people that I would like to recommend as well when it comes to understanding and working with your mind. And the first one is Dr. Bruce Lipton and his book, Biology of Belief. You can find it on Audible, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. I do believe there is a audio book on YouTube as well. It really shows you that we are in control of our genes. We just have to control our mind. And the last one I'd like to recommend is Dr. Joe Dispenza, who has a book called Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself. Let's see if that's correct. Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself, which is also a really good book about how to take control of our minds and, create our desired experiences. Alrighty guys, well that is it. If you have found value in this video, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys again for the next video. Take care, everybody.